welcome to New Year Yoga Part 2. It's going to be a little bit quicker than Part 1. Nothing too complicated, just moving quicker, mainly because I'm freezing cold in here. I'm joined by Fudgy again. Hopefully he'll be a little bit more well behaved than last time. And what do you need for today? As always, really, just blocks is the main thing, and if you don't have blocks, maybe a cushion or a book, as long as it's not too heavy. And other than that, just enjoy the session. And we're going to start seated, and if it's not comfortable cross-legged, then by all means take the legs out. Any position where you're comfortable and you're not slouching, so that you can lift through the chest, even if you've got to put your back against the wall. Wherever you are, rolling the shoulders up and back and down. And just start paying attention to that lovely breath. You can close the eyes down if it's comfortable. Your hands can be on your lap. They can be on your knees. You can have them in Anjali Mudra, the prayer position, whatever suits you. But grounding yourself down. Starting the practice with a little bit of gentleness and kindness to yourself, including your thoughts. And just noticing what you can hear without judging it, what you can feel, maybe what you can smell, to really keep you in this present moment, because sometimes when we close our eyes down, if that's what you're doing, our mind can wander. So keep it nice and present and grounded. Let the belly inflate on the inhale, and as you exhale, just let the shoulders go a little more. We're allowing ourselves time and space. That is when our body starts to heal. When we tell ourselves we don't need to be anywhere, we don't need to do anything. Noticing what your breath is doing and how you feel. And it can be hard for that breath to move into the belly if we're not used to breathing like that. We hold on to our tummies, just let them go, let them be big and beautiful. So when you inhale, try not to bring the shoulders up to the ears, but try to keep them as still as you can. You can even hold on to them to stop them moving, and let the breath come into the lower body. And once you can find that lovely slowing down of the breath, which might not come on your first or second or even 100th attempt, we can start to lengthen the exhale. And we're going to do that today by humming. I'm not going to chant with you today, I might do that for part 3, but today it's just going to be a hum. So we're going to take a big inhale, and the exhale will be a hum as slowly as you can, or I should say keeping it as long as you can, and that forces you to exhale really, really slowly. So it's a nice way of forcing your body to relax. So big inhale when you're ready. Doesn't matter if yours isn't the same length as mine, do another 2. Last one, or it could be your 4th or 5th, whichever one it is. And just sit. Noticing how you feel now before we start to move. Keeping yourself grounded and in the room. And then gently opening the eyes. Fudge is starting to make a noise because we sing together at home. If I do a humming sound, he joins in, so I'm surprised you didn't join in with that, Fudge. Come over onto your hands and knees, and let's just start with some cat-cows. Nice and simple. Really spreading the fingers out, a nice firm base through the hands, nice strong arms, not sinking into the shoulders, pushing the ground away, always pushing the ground away, whether you're in a cat-cow, hands and knees, whether you're in a side plank, a normal plank, whatever it is you're doing, push the ground away, round the upper back. And then maybe tuck the tail under and let the head go for your scared cat pose. And then as you lift the bum, drop the belly, lift the chest without bending the arms, your cow pose. And moving in your own time, 1 breath per move if you can, don't worry if you can't. Just make it as deep, as slow, as lovely as you need it to be. Always moving the bum first if you can and not squeezing the neck too far back. Lead with the base of the spine. 2 more. And come into a neutral spine. So you're trying not now to lift the bum and arch your back. So you're just gently tucking the tail under. So you're supporting your lower back. Now you can start to engage your belly just a little bit, pulling it in, scooping it out. And then as you put the weight into your right hand, let's take that left foot back. Start to really stabilise through that right hand and the right knee. And maybe you can lift your foot off the floor. Not too high, just in line with the hip, but push your heel back like you're pushing the wall behind your way. And if that feels okay now, weight goes into the left hand, right hand forward. So opposite leg, opposite foot. You're going to inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to try and bring your elbow to your knee and almost touching the left elbow as well. So we've got both centre arms and the knee all joining in one place, and then extend. And then in slowly, and then extend. And when you come in, you're making yourself as rounded and as small as you can. 1 more. All the way into that point on the left elbow if you can. And relax it down. Take a child's pose if you need, so knees wide, feet together, and take a big stretch out. So you can keep the elbows off, come high on the fingertips for a super intense shoulder stretch, or you can just let it go. Breathe wherever you are. Come up on the other side. Okay, right leg goes back. Check you've got that nice grounding through your hands again. The belly scooped under, you're not arching your back. Push the ground away and then lifting that right leg. Pushing the room away behind you. Watch that the left elbow isn't bending because it's going to want to. And then the weight into the right hand, lift the left arm. Gazes down. Inhale. Exhale, bring the elbow and the knee to the right elbow. Squeeze round your body and then extend. And come in. And inhale, extend if you can. And exhale, draw in. And inhale. And exhale. Last one. Well done. This time, coming onto your hands and knees, tucking the toes. You can take that child's pose again if you like, or you can come into your first downward dog as you keep the knees bent. Push into the heel and hands, like you're trying to get your chest and belly onto those thighs. Big breaths. Arms are really strong and activated. And then start straightening one leg at a time. Walking out those feet. Well done. Big breaths. And let's walk the feet to the top of the mat. And let
Let's just let everything go for a couple of breaths. Hold on to the elbows, slight bend in the knees, and just let gravity pull the top of the head down. This is all about deep breathing. Every yoga class is. But we do forget how to breathe when we don't go to yoga. And then letting the hands go, pushing into the feet, tighten up the butt muscles, tummy's in, big rise up. And hands to the heart. Inhale, rise up. And swan dive from the hip all the way down. Hands on the blocks or the thighs or the floor as you lift the bum and the chest, halfway lift. And then let's step back into a plank. Inhale here. Exhale, drop the knees, come into your first chaturanga on the knees. Lower all the way to the floor. Roll the shoulders back, a little cobra. And then push back into your downward dog or child's pose. Step the right foot to the right hand, drop your left knee. Get yourself nice and rooted for our first pose here. So really rooting down through that front foot, not necessarily the front toes though, all of the foot. Start to pull your tummy in, and as you squeeze your left butt cheek, you can support your lower back as you rise up. You can keep your hands in your chest. If you have a block, have that nearby, because you can lift the arms up here or squeeze the block. And even if you don't have a block, you can still energetically try and squeeze the hands together without letting them move, and feel what that does. Pushing into the top of the back foot, so the toes aren't tucked, we're on the toenails touching the mat. Squeeze the butt. Apparently I say that a lot, but it's really important. Squeeze the block, squeeze the butt. And then bring it down. Plank, knees, chaturanga. Little cobra, roll the shoulders back and down. Don't squeeze the back of the neck. Downward dog. Big breath. Left foot to the left hand, drop the right knee. Ground yourselves here. So you're not letting that weight just fall. You're not letting the pelvic floor fall into the ground. You're dragging the front foot back, dragging the back knee forward like you're trying to bring them towards each other. Squeeze the butt cheeks to give you that activation to rise up. Hands to the heart, or you can hold that block and squeeze, or you can just imagine you are squeezing. Try and bring the shoulders back and down, but keep your tailbone tucking under to protect that back. Try not to tense up the shoulders around the ears. Last breath. And bring it down. Plank. Full chaturanga if you wish now. Or you can come into chaturanga with the knees down. You can take an up dog, or you can lower down and take the little back bend we did before. Down dog. Keep that breath nice and deep. Okay, let's bend the knees, sit the bum back, gaze is forward, and then you can just step, hop or jump to the top of your mat, let your head go. Halfway lift, as we lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, lift the bum, and forward fold. Push into the feet as you lift away from the ground. And hands to the heart. Let's go again. Rise up. And down from the hip, pivoting. Halfway lift. And this time you can jump back to plank if you wish. Chaturanga. Any variation that you want to do. Back bend. Downward dog. Lifting from the hips always to protect that back. Right foot to the right hand. This time your left knee staying off the floor. Unless you want to put it down, of course, depends on your again, you're using the activation around your pelvis and your hips, pushing down into the ground to rise up into your high lunge. Keep that back leg really strong. Watch that your whole of the front foot is pushing down, not just the toes, and squeeze the butt. It's good to make yourself laugh, isn't it? So you've got your right foot down, your left arm comes up in the air, and then bend it at the elbow just to tap yourself on the back. Keep that butt cheek clenched so that you're protecting your back. And from here, you can just take your right arm over the top. So you're in a nice tricep stretch, or you can bring it around to clasp. If your hands don't meet, you can always just grab hold of your clothing. But this is going to open that chest. Keep the legs strong. Keep squeezing that left butt cheek so hard. And breathe. And then release. Bring the hands down. Left hand to the floor or a block. Lift the right arm into the air. Twist. You can do this with your left knee down. Keep that left shoulder away from the ear. You can always place the hand on the hip, wherever feels good for you. Last breath. And plank, chaturanga, or wherever feels good for you. Any back bend, keep the shoulders back and down. Down dog. Let's do that on the other side. Left foot. And let's get ourselves stable and sturdy before we come up. Pushing down into the floor with the back foot as much as the front foot. Squeeze the butt to rise up and keep that activation up. Right arm coming up this time. And just tapping yourself on the back. And you can bring your left arm over the top, or you can take it behind you to clasp. Wherever you are, we're trying to open your heart, squeeze the butt, strong legs. Breathe. One more. And bring the hands down, right hand to the floor or a block. You can drop your right knee. You can place your left hand on your left hip, or you can twist. Watch that left knee isn't jutting over to the left. Really keep that whole of the left foot grounded and the knee track into the middle. Don't have to gaze up if it hurts your neck. One more breath. And hands down. Plank. Chaturanga. Back bend. Down dog. Inhale here and sigh it out or roar it out. Cleansing breaths. Inhale. One more. Inhale, bend the knees and step hop or jump to the top of your mat. Let your head go. Halfway lift, hands can be on the block or your legs. And forward fold. Push the floor away, rise to the sky. And hands to the heart. Let's carry on. It's freezing in here. And forward fold from the hip. Halfway lift. And jump or step back into your chaturanga. Back bend. Downward dog. Right foot forward. Left heel down, warrior one. Inhale, squeeze the left butt cheek. Straight back down, plank chaturanga. Back bend, downward dog. Left foot forward, right heel down, rise up. Exhale, inhale. Straight back down, chaturanga. Back bend. Downward dog. Breathe. Sigh it out. One more. Sit back, gazes forward. Step, hop or jump to the top of your mat. Let the body go. Halfway lift as you push yourself away from the floor. Straighten the legs if it's comfortable. And forward fold. Push into the floor, rise up. Hands to the heart. And rise up. Fold from the hip. Halfway lift. And get your chaturanga going. Back bend. Down dog. Right foot to the right hand this time. And what we're going to do is place the left heel down. Keep a big bend in that right leg as we squeeze the right glute. Warrior two. So this time our body is facing the long edge of the mat. And you're bending into that front leg as much as is comfortable for you, whilst keeping firmly pushing into the back foot as well. Check what your back arm is doing, because it tends to want to drop. Shoulders back and down. And breathe. Warrior two, gaze can be over those front fingers. Strong warriors. And watch that you're not leaning forward. Keep that body central. And breathe. And if you want to support yourself, you can place your left hand just at the base of those ribs. You can always bring it down your leg if your backs are okay, or if you don't want this modification. Turning the front palm up, lifting your right hand into the air. And maybe your gaze now can go towards your left foot and have a look where your left shoulder is. Can you roll it back and down away? Rolling that shoulder back as you really make space in those ribs. And maybe you can try and get your hand to come over towards that back foot without compressing into this left hand. Breathe. Squeezing the butt cheeks. Keeping everything as spacious as you can in this difficult pose. And then bring it back into your warrior two. And then come into a plank. And hold the plank. Breathe. So you're going to take the weight into your right hand. You can drop your right knee if you wish. And you're going to come into a side plank. You can stay here, you can have that right knee on the floor, or you can start to lift your left leg. It's a balance. You can stay here, or you can bring the left heel to the left inner thigh and take tree pose in a plank, just to confuse you. One more breath. Ooh. And come round into plank. Bit more gracefully than I did. Can you do a chaturanga now? And maybe a back bend. Downward dog. Or child's pose if you've had enough. And breathe. When you are ready. Left foot to the left hand and all sorts of sides. Left foot forward. Warrior two. So big bend in that front knee again. Rolling into the outer edge of that back foot. Strong arms. Roll the shoulders back and down. So the upper body can relax somewhat here. It's more the outer push of those fingertips and the lower body nice and active in our warrior two. And then your back hand either supporting those ribs, so it's just above my hip. Or if you're used to doing reverse warrior with the hand down the leg, that's where you can be. Turn the palm up. Maybe look at your back foot. Watch where that right shoulder is. Roll it back and away, like you're trying to open the back armpit. Squeeze the glutes so that you're not leaning forward. And come over. Making the spine as tall and long as you can. And breathe. You can gaze up if you wish. It's whatever you feel like doing today. And bring it down into plank. Of course, you can drop your knees So you can stay with this plank, you can drop your left knee, it's up to you. As you take the weight into the left hand for your side plank. Don't have to lift the arm, it can stay on your hip. Your feet can be stacked, or you can have one in front of the other. Oh, you can start to lift one foot off the floor. Or maybe bringing it into our tree pose. Breathe, keep squeezing the butt cheek so that the pelvis comes forward. Keeping that left shoulder away from the left ear if you can. One more breath. And plank. And chaturanga if you've got it. And back bend. And downward dog. Or child's pose. Whatever feels good for you. Let's take some cleansing breaths wherever you are. Inhale. Sit the bum back, gazes forward, and step, hop or jump to the top of your mat, let it go. Halfway lift, and forward fold. Tummy's in, push the floor away, rise up. And hands to the heart. Let's see how our standing tree pose feels today. Okay, nice and grounded through those feet. So, we're not slumping or slouching. For our tree pose to work, we have to push the floor away, which lifts the legs up, pulls the tummy in, and gets us nice and solid through our bodies. Let's start with the weight in the right foot. See how that feels today. And you're just going to open that left hip. That's all tree is. It's opening that hip out. And you can keep your left toes on the floor. You can see how it feels to balance today. Now it helps to keep your focus on one point that isn't moving and to keep your tummy in. Or you can bring your heel into your inner thigh, but you must bring the inner thigh into the heel at the same time. And that causes, again, the strength and the support as you squeeze your butt cheeks as well, and all of the fire is around the centre. Maybe you can bring your hands into prayer. Or maybe you can open out the branches of your tree. Tummy's in, open the chest, relax the shoulders. And we're going to see from here how it feels to take your right arm over your left, maybe. And you can just hug your shoulders, or you can come into eagle arms. So I've crossed above the elbow, and I'm joining the backs of the hands, or wrapping the fingers, and then lifting the elbows. And it's a really hard balance when you're in tree. Oh, well done if you managed to stay in it, wherever you are. Undoing them and letting it go. And you may be able to feel that on that standing leg, because it will use so many muscles that we're not used to using. Okay, let's try that on the other side. Left foot down, and let's open that right hip. So you're keeping your hips facing forward, but you're just allowing that right hip joint to open up. Squeeze the butt cheeks just a bit, pull the tummy in, and decide how the balance feels on this side. One side will always be wobblier, so no judgment. Don't get too frustrated, and of course you can use wall. I should have said that before the first one, shouldn't I? And then bringing the heel into the thigh into the heel. I have to focus on a spot because otherwise I go everywhere. Tummy's in. Hands into Anjali Mudra, or you can open out your branches. It actually helps with the balance to have the arms out, I think. Keep squeezing the butt, opening the chest, tummy's in. And if you want to try your eagle arms, left arm crosses high up, above the right. And then, okay. You can bring the backs of the hands together. or the fronts. And if you can, bring the shoulders down away from the ears, but lift the elbows. Oh, well done. This is so hard if you're giving this a go. Really hard. Amazing. If you are there, you can undo yourself as gracefully or not as you like. Oh, and give it a shake. Well done. And come to the top of your mat. Inhale. And swan dive. Halfway lift. Plank chaturanga. And back bend. And downward dog. We're finishing strongly. Let's bring the right foot to the right hand. But we're going to come into warrior one, but it's a wide warrior one. So really keep the feet as wide on the mat as you can. And then you can place the left heel down and rise up. So you will be twisted more to the left than normal in a warrior one because it's much wider. And then from here, clasping the hands behind. Big bend in that front leg if it's comfortable. Folding from the hip. If this isn't good for you, you can just take hold of the elbows behind. It doesn't have to be clasping the fingers. And if you have clasped the fingers, notice which little finger is on the bottom, so we're going to swap over. Shoulders back and down, pulling the fingers away as we fold from the hip. Humble warrior. And really trying to get my shoulder blades towards each other. Squeeze into those fingers, trying to pull them apart. And that allows me to get a deep shoulder stretch. And breathe. One more breath. And as you rise up, please be careful. Tummy's in, butt cheeks nice and tight. Push the floor away. Warrior two. Reverse warrior, you can support if you need. Extended warrior, come all the way over this time, elbow onto the thigh, hand can stay on the hip or can come over. Nice long line from your back foot, up the leg to the fingers. And your palm can face the floor or you can turn your palm so that it faces behind you. So your thumb is on top, little finger on the bottom. Maybe you want to bend into that front leg a little more. If you're okay and you've got lots of activity in the butt cheeks, the belly, the legs, maybe your other hand can come off. And I'm opening into that left armpit. I'm not letting it drop. And breathe. Warrior two. Straightening the front leg without locking it. Maybe bringing the back foot in just a little. Squeeze your left butt cheek in. I'm going to come into a triangle. What you're going to do is pivot the arms the other way. So they are vertical. Couldn't work that one out then. Now triangle, you'll see a lot of people do this. I'm not working at all here. All I've done is stick my butt out. So as I squeeze my butt cheeks and bring my pelvis forward, it lifts me up, but it's much more active. You choose wherever you want to be. Half moon. So you can have a block to the front of your right foot, or you can come straight to the floor. Wherever you want to be. Right hand to the floor or a block, to the front and to the right of the right foot. Lifting the left leg into the air. Gazes down for balance initially. And as you open your hip, turning your left toes to the ceiling. Maybe you can lift your left arm into the air. See how that feels. Big breaths. Maybe you can bend your top foot and grab a hold. And maybe you can start to lift your right hand off the floor. And then stepping back. Plank, chaturanga, up dog. And down dog. Oh, well done. Let's try that on the other side. Left foot forward, right foot back. Big wide legs. Drop the right heel so that you come up into that big wide warrior one. And then remember which little finger was on the bottom last time. See if you can get the other little finger on the bottom this time. Nearly there now. When you are ready, strong arms, like trying to get your hands towards the floor. So I'm pulling them down, but I'm also trying to pull my fingers apart. Folding from the hip. Trying to get the shoulder blades together behind you. And humble warrior. And then rolling the shoulders back and down if that's comfy. To really allow a big shoulder stretch. Working those legs hard, like trying to drag your front foot to the centre and your back foot to the centre. And to come up here, really pushing the floor away, tummy in. Oh, warrior two. And breathe. Reverse warrior. And extended warrior. So there's not a lot of weight going into that elbow because you're squeezing the butt cheeks, tummies in, dragging the feet towards each other, opening the armpit. And maybe you can release the hand. Oh, my hip just went there. In a good way. Lots of hip cracks. Opening that right armpit to the ceiling. And warrior two. Bringing that back foot in if you wish, you don't have to. As we start to straighten into that front leg and watch that the right hip hasn't jutted it out, squeeze it under and then you can pivot the arms. If you want to take that deeper triangle, you can, as long as it's active and you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. So what you're going to do is pull that front hamstring. It's better to be higher and be able to activate and bring the pelvis forward than dropping down and letting the bum stick out. Gaze is whatever feels good for you. I'm going to come into that half moon. So the hand is going to come to the floor, just to the front left of that left foot. And maybe as you straighten the left leg, the right leg can lift off. You can keep the toes down initially, get your balance, gaze is down, tummy's in. And then as you start to lift the hip and turn the right toes to the right, maybe you can lift the arm, shoulder, oops, or maybe not. Right shoulders away from the ear. One side's always wobblier. Maybe you want to bend the knee, maybe not. Take hold of the ankle. Oh, this is my wobbly hip, very wobbly today. Gaze is down, wherever you are. If you want to try and take the balance and lift the hand off, feel free. You can do that in your normal half moon as well. It will be very intense in that left hip though. And then plank, chaturanga, any back bend. Let's take a child's pose. So sit the bum back. See how that feels. That was hard working the glutes then. So enjoy a nice stretch out. A nice rest, some lovely big breaths. Noticing how you feel. And then just bring yourselves up onto your knees. Grabbing a block if you have one. Okay, so we're going to see how it feels just to do a tiny little bit of a camel flow. We're not going to be doing full camel today. I don't think we've warmed our backs up enough for that. Oh no, this isn't a time for you to come over, mister. Sit down. Grabbing a block or a cushion if you have it. And then placing it high up between the thighs. I'm going to say side on because you'll see why. And all we're going to do is placing the hands to support you just above the butt cheeks on the lower back. And then from here, if it's more stable for you, you can tuck your toes. All you're going to do is take your left arm and really sweep it up and back, and then back on your hip. And we're just warming up the right arm. Maybe inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now start squeezing your glutes and squeeze the block or the cushion or whatever is between your thighs so that we're not exposing our lower back. Keeping the glutes on is going to really protect us. Tummy's in. Now if you wish, your gaze can follow your fingertips and you can start to really sweep it back one way and then the other. And you'll notice where you feel a bit stiff. Squeeze the block even harder. Maybe introduce a little bit more of a back bend if your back feels warm enough. So you squeeze the hips forward and take that back bend. A couple more, because if you've been squeezing your glutes, you are going to feel that now. Squeeze them even harder. Oh, I can feel that one. And sit yourself down. Okie dokie. All we're going to do is take that right leg out and cross the left leg over the top. We're just going to come into a twist here. So you're just going to hug your right arm around your left leg. So you're turning into your leg. Unless that's not comfortable, you can turn away. The right leg's nice and straight. I flex the toes towards my face. I'm lifting my chest. Shoulders are backing down and I twist from the shoulders, not the neck. As I twist, twist, twist. Trying to keep as much of that left butt cheek on the floor as you can, so you've not leant over one way or the other. Big inhales and exhale, let it go. Flex those toes. Well done. And then whilst you've got that left leg over, if you can, just come into crossed legs so that your left foot goes over the top of the right shin. And then you're just going to forward fold here. And breathe. You can place your head on your thumbs, or you can build a cushion, or maybe you're sitting up, but you're trying to bring your body forward, not down, but forward as you push your bum back, and that's going to give you a really lovely hip and glute stretch. And bringing it up, and then left leg comes out. Right foot over the top, and we're hugging towards our right knee, or if you did it away last time, then do it away this time. The whole of that right foot is going down into the floor, flexing those left toes, and then an inhale to lift up through the spine, exhale, twist through the shoulders. Oh, Fudgy, you shivering? Oh, he's freezing. I've been moving, haven't I? I'll put heating on in a minute. Oh, you poor thing. It's so cold in here. And then bringing it round, crossing the legs so that the right shin is over the left and taking your forward fold. There you go, there you go. Oh, that's better, isn't it? So you think you need a blanket, right shin over the left. Let it go, wherever that may be for you. Sending that bum back and lengthening the spine. And bringing yourselves back to centre. Shall we finish with one om? Just see how it goes. So we just exactly like we did with that breathing at the start. We're going to take a big inhale, and on the exhale we're just going to say om, just like we did with the breath. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can always just hum. Or you can just do nothing, whatever feels good for you. So bringing your hands into your heart, palms together, pushing the thumbs into the chest into the thumbs, sitting up nice and tall, relaxing the shoulders, big breath in, and release. You don't have to do it yet. And then another breath in, and off. bringing the thumbs to the forehead. Thank you for joining me.